Greetings and welcome to Chant Day. Welcome to Chant Day. How is everybody out there today? It is it's Sunday. Let me the weather um you may want to take a look. Let's see if I can show you. The weather outside is really stormy. So we have a storm that's coming to the Caribbean. We have a storm coming to the Caribbean. Beryl is the storm. And my dad is in St. Lucia right now, actually. And that's where the storm is heading, to St. Lucia. It's going to pass over there or something. So we have, we have some, this is hurricane season. It started in June, and there's a storm already. We're at the end of June. Today is the 30th of June, and we're going into July 1st on Monday. This is when the storm is heading up the Hurricane Alley. So it's going to be tonight and Monday night passing by St. Lucia. It's going to be passing over Jamaica. So all my Caribbean people out there, I'm sending you light and love and safety and protection as you bunker for the storm. There's lots of wind, lots of rain. You just have to bunker down. And it's good on the islands to make bunkers, when you're building your house. We don't have basements and stuff. We have cisterns. However, part of people's cisterns, it's called a cistern, where you collect water, rainwater. Well, part of the cistern, people need to start building, because the cistern is concrete. People need to start building bunkers attached to the cistern so they can go into when the storms pass through, so that they're safe, underground. That We're getting worse and worse hurricanes. Worse and worse hurricanes are coming. And because of that, we have to prepare. We just have to prepare. And in that preparation, we need to take time to chant the psalm. So here we go with that. So it's about getting comfortable in your space, in yourself, and finding that ability to transfer the righteousness that you have been given, and building that, finding things that you do or that you can find to do that is going to be about righteousness, right? Goodness, mercy, and love and kindness. It's all about that. Okay, so I have my tea. This is lemongrass tea. My tea bags are running out, so I have to go outside and get some bush. So today's psalm and today's psalm for the 30th of June is the 30th, Psalm 30. But I decided to read Psalm 24. And Psalm 24 is about the King and Queen of Glory. Yesterday, when I saw a husband and wife, I mentioned to them that, oh my goodness, I'm seeing both of you in the same place at the same time. That is representative to me of what the Most High is, male and female, man and woman coming together for creation. Now, the idea of other genders or same genders coming together, I like to always I want to put it in the framework that even though you are with the same gender, acknowledging that the creation comes from two opposite genders is going to give you that ideology and that narrative that you're humble. Just like it's similar to white supremacy, how white supremacy came in and dictated and dominated, right? All other races, instead of allowing other races to pull up or help them pull up. They negatively looked at these other races negatively, when in fact righteousness of the Most High is about inclusive and the ability to humble to a fact or a knowledge. So you humble to the fact that creation, all of creation, needs opposite genders to have a creation. So we can't discriminate against heterosexual, we can't discriminate against homosexual, we can't discriminate, period. But I know that the foundation of creation has come from opposites, right? And we see that with the sun and the moon. The sun and the moon are opposites, but they come from the same source. Does that make sense? That same source created them and separated them in order to bring them together to have a purpose, right? So you're separated, and the bringing together of the knowledge is what gives that coming together. So even though you're separated, even though the sun and the moon are separated, they still work together for a common purpose, right? The moon doesn't have any light, but the sun gives it its light, so we see it in the night. So my point here is that we're all working together for the goodness and mercy and compassion that is righteousness, that is what people call God, Lord, Jesus, Jehovah, Selassie the First, Buddha, Allah. All of those names have been derived from righteousness, and it's just mankind has given it these other names. So I always stick with righteousness, goodness, mercy, love, kindness, compassion. These are the attributes that we call on when we go to church, when we go to the synagogue, when we go, any place to acknowledge that there is a higher source, a higher power greater than ourselves that created a a a a earth for us to be able to breathe, and trees for us to be able to cohabitate together. Just like the sun and the moon have a purpose, the trees and humans have a purpose. Plants, anything green, has a relation to a human body. But yet the human body has gone out and is eating the flesh of the earth, me included. I stopped eating chicken, but my mom made some little fried chicken wingettes or whatever, and I tasted a piece of it, and it was delicious. I mean, so I fell off that wagon myself. So I know how hard it can be for people to change the way they eat and the way they think and the way that they have perceived themselves as part of this earth. I don't want to say world, because we are in this world, but we should not be of this world, because this world is corrupt. This world has gone amok. It's gone in this way, and we see that with different aspects of our society, there is confusion. So in the psalm today and in the verse today, we talk about what that creation is about in terms of the balance of the opposites, right? The balance of the opposites. And we see that there is an imbalance in our creation, right? We see the imbalance of the patriarchal system dominating women, right? That's not balance. We see that there's an inequality of salaries. Women get less than men doing the same job. I'm a university professor. My male counterpart gets more than me doing the same job. Why is that the case? So there is an imbalance in our society, in our world, and because of that, we have a fallen system. You know, you've heard about Babylon the Great has fallen down, you know, and I wrote a poem about this years ago, right before the World Trade Centers happened. I wrote a poem about you know, America really, and the perpetuation of Babylonian mentality in the American system, because we have this colonialism and capitalistic ideology that birthed this white supremacy that is influenced everybody, not just white, but black. All kinds of races have been influenced and under that influence of white supremacy. Look at the Sherry Papini case. This is a white, blonde haired, blue eyed woman who was missing, right? And the whole world was looking for her because she's white, blonde hair, blue eye. They're under that influence. They have to save her. Come to find out now, she was making the whole thing up. She beat herself up. She did all this to herself to get attention from her husband, right? I don't know what the mentality of that is. I'm not a psychiatrist or a psychologist. I'm a family scientist. I work with families and I study them. But when we look at a case like that, we see the evidential, it's evident that the system was under the influence of white supremacy, because she pointed to Hispanic women as her kidnappers. And everybody believed that. So they believe the white woman, they believe the white man, because they're under that influence of the white supremacy, that everything that is looked at as white is right. So that's why we see it in religion, we see it in education, we see it in healthcare, we see it every place in our society where people are under this influence of white supremacy. When a black woman goes to the doctor, she's treated differently than a white woman goes to the doctor. That's obvious. Her pain is less significant than a white woman's pain. When white women cry tears, a black man can be killed, like we saw in Mississippi, you know, with Emmett Till. The white woman cried tears that this little young 14-year-old boy was whistling at her or something, and those tears got the boy killed. So when we're translating the scriptures, we have to translate it out of the white supremacist, colonial, capitalistic framework that it was created to enslave, and we have to liberate the words. So even though I may have two people viewing this, one day it's going to take off in a way where people are going to really um, accept, not accept, but they're going to acknowledge that this makes sense. That when you are reading the scriptures, the sacred scriptures that were passed down from generations to generations and then translated to nefariously enslave people, or to keep this caste system in place where anything dark colored, black colored, is down to the bottom, and anything that is close to white is on the top. This is throughout our world. It's in India, it's in all the different continents of the world that white supremacy has seeped itself into. So in translation of the psalm today, Psalm 24, this is a psalm of David. It's titled The King of Glory. Now, we already see the imbalance because a king has a queen, doesn't it? Doesn't he? A king has a queen. So why is it just the king of glory? Why is it not the king and queen of glory? So we have to question these things because we see the patriarchal white supremacist system and framework embedded in the scriptures. When you go to church, everything is he, him, right? So the psalm today, and I really kind of preface the psalm with what I'm talking about to get everybody on board in terms of how the translation is going to speak to you and how you as black people are included in the scriptures. The oppressed of the earth are usually black people, people of color, that are oppressed. The Native Americans, they were exterminated, like totally exterminated. And just and they knew this was coming. They knew it was coming. The elders told them that this pale face is about to come and do this. So when they saw that happening, they knew it was time, right? Their lives were about to change, and their heritage and their lineages and their traditions were about to be coming to an end. Okay? Similar to the enslaved Africans in Africa who were actually taken and brought to the mainland, but some of them were already traversing the seas out there already. So they were already with the Native Americans, working together, having children together. And that's why we see, this happening today. Use me as an example. My mom is of Indian heritage, okay, from St. Lucia. The storm is about to come there tonight. My dad is there, so I'm sending out, shouts of compassion and mercy for my dad and the family there. So we look at the importance of having that balance, and looking at the Psalm today, 24, we are going to see how that balance comes in. So Psalm 24 begins with verse 1 about the earth. And as we look at the hurricanes that are coming, the earth is reacting. The human impact has impacted the earth so that it's reacting. We have people drilling under the earth for oil, people digging. We have machinery going into the earth, pulling things out. It's just so many things that are going on. And because of that, we are keepers of the earth. We have to be able to be, we have been given responsibility for the earth and the taking caring of the earth, taking care of the earth. So in verse 1, it talks about the earth. Excuse me. Yep, it is really early. It's almost 6 a.m. So the earth is righteousness and the fullness thereof. So it it speaks, the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. So remember, I always translate God, Lord, and Jesus, Jehovah, Selassie the first, Buddha, Allah. All of that is translated into righteousness, mercy, compassion, and love and kindness. So the earth is righteousness and the fullness thereof. The earth and those that dwell on the earth. Now it talks about the world. I don't use the world in this translation. I use the earth because we dwell on the earth. The world has been created to be against righteousness, to be against the earth. That's why you see there's fruits coming with no seeds. They don't want you planting any food. They want to be able to feed you themselves. So, this earth being the fullness is important. The earth is righteousness. The earth is good. It's righteousness. We human beings have destroyed it. But the earth is good. It's right. It's fullness of righteousness. And those that dwell in the earth also have the fullness of righteousness. Verse 2, for righteousness founded the earth upon the seas and established the earth upon the rivers. So we have water, we have land, okay? The foundation of the earth upon the seas, okay? Let that marinate for a second. Verse 3 is a question. Who shall ascend the hill of righteousness? Who is going to go up to that hill of righteousness? I posted and I married righteousness. I got married to righteousness basically on the 27th of June. My anniversary is the 27th every month. I've married to righteousness. Greetings of tranquility, El Sue. Thank you for joining. So the question is, who is going to ascend the hill of righteousness? Who is going to stand in this sacred place of goodness, mercy, tranquility? Thank you, El Sue, for posting that, because tranquility, instead of using the word peace, peace is the diploma you get in the certificate you get in the cemetery. Rest in peace. That's your certificate. You're not here anymore, right? So instead of using that to represent the living, I'm going to use tranquility to represent the living, because we are alive, we are here, we give thanks that we have the ability to be alive and to be able to function and to be able to have a mind where we can traverse our journey successfully, okay? Because there are traps out there. There's violent video games, there's casinos, there's drugs, there's alcohol, there's traps. And all of these things I mentioned take money. So when you're putting your money in these things, instead of putting your money in things that are going to reap an investment in the future, like the ants are packing up themselves for the future. What is to come? What is to be? So we have to really change our mindset around that in terms of how we handle things of the world and not getting caught up by them, right? You could have $100,000 in your bank account. That doesn't define you. You could have $1 in your bank account. That doesn't define you. What defines you is more sustenance, more of a personage of life, of light. That's what defines you. It's the essence. That's the word, the essence of who you are. not the material things. The earrings that I wear, I had to buy. This out, this I had to buy. You know, you need money to buy things. There was a point in my life where I made my own clothes out of crocus bags, coffee bean bags, you know, sackcloth and ash. That's what I transformed into that. Okay, just like Buddha came from this rich family and went to the people and wanted to live like that. That's how I was. I wanted to be with the people, living with the people, and I wanted to find out what the natural things are that we need that we can survive off of without the material things of this world. So that journey gave me a foundation that yes, you can survive without the trappings of the world. Okay. So in verse 3, there is a question. Who is going to ascend to this place? Who is going to ascend to this place? Right? And who is going to stand in this sacred place? So the question is two questions. And in verse 4, it's answered. Let's see what the answer is. The one who has clean hands and a pure heart. Clean hands meaning you don't steal. You don't pick something up and take it and it's not yours and then lie about it and said you didn't take it. That's not a clean hand. That person is not going to ascend to the hill of righteousness because their hands are in wrongness. Unless they find a way to stop that wrongness and seek for what is good, what's above, that's the only way they'll be able to ascend to that place of righteousness. And that place of righteousness I mentioned yesterday is safety. It's a safe place. There's not going to be no harm coming to you when you seek for what is good. So verse 4 answers the question. The one who has a clean hands and a pure heart that does not lift up his life to a lie. So you're not going to steal something and lie about it. You're not going to lift up your self to a lie, and you're not going to swear deceitfully. You're not going to be deceitful, in other words. Stop the lying. Stop lying and stop covering up the truth. Let the truth have its day. Let it have its day. It's going to have its day anyway. So why not be on that side of it? Why be on the opposite side of the truth when you know the truth is going to set everything free? It's going to set it off. So in verse 5, it talks about what that person is going to receive when they have a clean hands and a pure heart and they are about truth and righteousness and justice and tranquility. What is going to happen to them? Verse 5 tells very specifically, you're going to receive a bless from righteousness, and righteousness from righteousness of the future salvation is going to be righteousness. So notice how verse 5 speaks. He will receive blessing from the Lord and righteousness from the God of his salvation. Righteousness is inclusive in that. So in translation, we are going to lift up the word and talk about that the one who has a clean hand and pure heart and does not lift up his life to what is false and does not swear deceitfully will receive bless from righteousness, and righteousness from the Most High Almighty, that is righteousness, and has salvation. What is salvation? It's your future. So your future is going to be nice. It's not going to be a future in a hospital bed because you didn't eat right, because you didn't live right, because you didn't do right. You don't want to end up there. I've seen people end up in hospital beds and they did not survive. They stayed there and they had to get buried. So I don't want to see that for folks. The sodas, all these sugary drinks is not good for your body, for your liver, for your kidneys. The alcohol is not good at all, period. So what is that salvation? It is that future. So we have verse 6 now. Such is the generation of those who seek righteousness, who seek the face of righteousness. Selah. You're going to be looking for that righteousness. You're looking for that face. Just like a crack addict looking for the next high. You're looking for righteousness. You're looking for that next right thing. That's what you're looking for, you know. And that generation who look for that righteousness is going to see the face of righteousness. People say you can't see God. You can't see the Most High. You got to die in order. You got to leave your body, separate your body from um, your spirit so you can see God. You got to be absent from the body to see God. What that means is you have to be absent from the flesh, from the thoughts of these of the flesh. That's and seeking righteousness. That's how you're gonna see God, see the face of righteousness. Okay, you don't want to be seeking for the things of the world. Like I just mentioned, a crack addict is gonna want crack. That's what their motivation is. But when you look at a righteous person, what they looking for is the next righteousness, the next hit. Hey, shh. The next hit, the next righteousness. So in verse 7, 8, 9, and 10, the final 4 verses. And when I read this psalm and it hits people and they feel a way, they get uncomfortable, it's because of the fact that it's something they need to listen to. They need to listen to it. So in verse 7, we want to lift up your heads, O gates, and be lifted up, O ancient doors, that the King and Queen of glory may enter. And who is the King and Queen of glory? Righteousness, strong and mighty, righteous and mighty in battle. So we're lifting up our heads, everyone, all the gates of the homes of people. Lift up your heads and lift them up, ancient doors, that the King and Queen of glory may come in. So who is this King and Queen of glory? It's righteousness. The righteousness is the host. Okay? The host. Righteousness is a host. And righteousness is the King and Queen of glory. Selah. So we get our answer. We get from the beginning of the psalm to the question of the psalm, who is this one? And this one is righteousness, strong and mighty, mighty in battle. This is what that one is. So when you're seeking the face of righteousness, you want to seek the balance of king and queen, male and female, that balance. So, Selah and Selah again. Here ends the psalm for today. That's the psalm for today, Psalm 24. I love it. And I wanted to share the verse of the day because the verse of the day is coming from Zechariah chapter 14, verse 9. Righteousness will be king and queen over the full earth. On that day, there will be one love, and one love's name, the only name, righteousness. Okay? Now, it speaks of the Lord will be king over the whole earth. I don't use whole, I use full. On that day, there will be one Lord, and his name, the only name. So, this can be confusing, right? Let's translate it because righteousness is ultimately what the name is. We have people killing people because they're not calling the name of what they feel they should call, right? People say there's no other name above Jesus. Jesus is the highest name. There's no other name above Jesus. And Christians ended up killing people because of that philosophy. But when you have that philosophy that one is above everything, or one thing is above one Everything else, you get confusion and you get war. What is above everything is righteousness, goodness, mercy, love, and compassion. That is what is above all. So when you get into these ideologies of names and what name is above this name and that name, and you're supposed to call God Lord and Jesus and all of this, we get away from the reality of what that means. And that means love, kindness, mercy, righteousness, compassion. That's what it all means. So when I translate Zechariah 14, verse 9, righteousness will be negus and negas over the full earth. On that day, there will be one love, one righteousness, one kindness. It's not going to waver. It's not going to shift. It's going to be one respect for humanity. That's what one love means, according to Damian Marley. Thank you, Damian, for sharing that about what one love means. It doesn't mean all this hugging and kumbaya. It means we're respecting humanity. We're respecting everybody. If somebody wants to wear a purple hat, let them wear that. If somebody wants to be in a relationship with someone that is their same gender, let them. As long as they keep in mind that the creation is about the opposites. That's what the creation is about. And remembering that and honoring that in your relationship with each other. Honor that. So the verse today about righteousness is being king and queen over the full earth is totally exactly what Psalm 24 is about, the king and queen of glory. So the king and queen will be over the full earth, okay? And acknowledging that is important when you see that happening. And I wanted to, I don't know if I can find the word of the day. Let me see if I can. This happens all the time when I'm trying to get the word of the day. But I can go to dailyword.com. This is where I get the word of the day from, dailyword.com. And for today, the word is world peace. So I don't use the word peace, I use the word tranquility. So when we talk about peace in the world, we're talking about tranquility. We're talking about a sense of balance and calmness. When we talk about peace, we're talking about love, compassion. So affirming the divinity of all the people in the world, we envision one love for humanity. This is what I just mentioned about one love being, and we see it in the word today. So peace is the diploma or the certificate you get in the cemetery. So instead of peace, we use tranquility. Tranquil, like a tranquilizer. I want to be tranquilized with righteousness. Tranquilize me with goodness, mercy, love, and kindness. So that is meant for every person of every faith in every land. And I mention this because it doesn't matter your denomination, your affiliation. What matters is your righteousness, your mercy, your kindness, and your love. You can go to any religion and you will find love is the key. They may use different words, they may have a different language for this or that, but ultimately it's about love and kindness and mercy and being compassionate and having a sense that you are part of this humanity. You're not isolated. You may be going to sleep alone, waking up alone, but you're not isolated. You have a common humanity with everyone else. So today I look beyond the news of the world reports of strife and conflict. Con is a lie. Even the agitation and unforgiveness in I and I own heart and find the tranquility of righteousness. So I believe the desire for love and tranquility is within each person's heart. When I commune with the Most High righteousness, I affirm truth and envision a desire growing stronger among people on the earth until love, tranquility can no longer be denied. Tranquility is our shared destiny to live in love with each other. When each person wants for all people what they want for themselves, harmony will blanket the earth. I affirm love I wish for myself is dawning in the hearts of others. So the love I seek for myself, the truth I seek for myself, I want for others. Okay? In communication with righteousness, I see others being safe and secure in the heart of righteousness, forever tranquil. And the words today is coming from Thessalonians. Up, it's starting to rain out here. Beryl is coming. Beryl is on the way, y'all. This word is supported by Thessalonians chapter 3, verse 16. Now may righteousness that is of love and tranquility him give love at all times in all ways. Righteousness be with all of you. Selah and Selah again. So in Thessalonians chapter 3 verse 16, now may the Lord of peace himself give you peace at all times in all ways. The Lord be with all of you. This is 2 Thessalonians chapter 3 verse 16. I just translated it to empower it. Listen to the translation. Now may righteousness of tranquility and balance and harmony give tranquility, balance, and harmony at all times and all ways. May righteousness be with all of you. Selah and Selah again. 2 Thessalonians chapter 3 verse 16. That's the translation. That's power. That's liberation. That is free. That is being free. That is embracing the language that we were given. We're embracing it. Yes, it's English I'm speaking, but I'm translating it into that empowerment of the language, to break the chains off of the language and free the language, for the language to become what it was meant to become or meant to be. Okay? So that is our Psalm today. Thank you so much for those of you who are sticking on here. I appreciate it. So thank you for joining. Seek the half that's never been told. And you want wrongness to be behind. Don't put it in front. So go ahead and chant a psalm a day, everyone. Have a blessed day. Thanks for joining, everyone. Have a blessed, bountiful, beautiful day. As we bring in the Sunday, I want everyone to remember that even though they say it's Sunday, we don't know. So if you're on this calendar, I'm not on this calendar, but if you're on this calendar, the Gregorian calendar, that's what the days are set up as. So someone mentioned to me, I said, Happy Tuesday. They were like, how you know it's Tuesday? So we are, you know, under the influence of the world in so many ways. So have a blessed day, everyone, and remember, seek for righteousness. Go and find that, like an addict. You're an addict for good, an addict for righteousness. Be that. Have a blessed day.